Hello and welcome to the winter special. I am so excited to be doing this tutorial for you guys today. In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to create this simple winter scene all in cycles. So this is perfect for a Christmas card if you want to do that, or any other kind of scene. You can even add in a log cabin and whatnot. But in this tutorial, you're going to learn how to create this winterscape scene in cycles. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so let's get started by looking at the source file. This is the scene. It's a simple background mixed in with our particle system that has our trees, and as well as that we have just a simple lake here. You can move it up and down to get that look of a lake in there. And we'll be doing some proportional editing to make our hills and lighting. You see our lighting here, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's a pretty simple scene, but let's go ahead and get started with the tutorial. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with our tutorial. So I'm just going to delete the default cube and replace it with a plane. I'm going to scale that up to about 15. So hit S and then type in 15. And let's scale it along the X like that. Just a little bit. There we go. And then let's take these back to something I didn't do with mine. And let's just scale that out like that. Okay, just so it kind of fans out more our scene, and that's pretty good. That's pretty much it. We'll do the proportional editing later when we have our trees imported. Let's go ahead and add in our sky background. So I am using the images as planes add-on. So if in the search bar you just start typing in images, you'll see this guy right here. Just go ahead and select that, and if you go to Shift A, mesh images as plane, basically what this add-on is doing is it will add in your sky texture, and I'll leave a link to where you can download this sky. But what this add-on does is it adds in the image, and you get these material settings over here for cycles. So obviously we want it as emission. You click on import images as planes, and it automatically does the picture to the correct aspect ratio and everything. So that's pretty good. Alright, just hit RX90 to rotate it on its side like that. We'll readjust later as we need to. I'm actually just going to distort the aspect just a little bit and scale it up along the Z, and just put it about right there. Should be good. Okay, now is the time to add in our trees. So I'll show you our tree. There it is, done. No, it is this guy right here. This is our tree. Yep, that's our tree. This tree was created in the sapling generator in here. So you just add tree if you have the sapling add-on enabled and you use your preferences. But I think it's easier if you guys just download this tree. You can use it however you want, in any scenes that you want. This tree is yours, and you can find the source file. For now, all my source files will be up on BlendSwap until I can get all of them onto the website, which is in progress right now. New website coming in the new year. But for now, you can download the source files on BlendSwap. But this is the tree that we'll have. Let's take a look at the nodes for our tree. Okay, So it's using the texture for the bark, I'm sure, that we've all used. The bark deciduous 0164 blah 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 blah. It's on CG textures. And that's how the texture looks. Yeah. Just a basic one plugged into diffuse node. My apologies, I said that the tree was created in the sapling generator. This tree was actually created in Arboro. So I'm gonna leave a little time lapse at the end of the tutorial that kind of just goes through quickly how the tree was made. But my apologies, this tree was made in Arboro, not the sapling add-on in Blender. Alright, let's take a look at the leaves, a little more complicated node setup here. Alright, just explaining here. You can take a screenshot right now if you want, or pause. Okay. Basically, for the leaves, we've got a mixed shader of two different diffuses. This one is turned down, and it's a little bit on the greenish side, just a little bit. And then we're going to mix that in with an actual white that is also on the slightest bit of green, not as much as this one though, and that's being left around the 0.8 area. And we're going to mix it together to get a different color at about 0.3. Then to add in some shine to the leaves, we're just going to add in a basic glossy node, turn down quite a bit. We're going to leave it at 0.2. We're going to mix it together. And then to add in light to pass through the leaves, we're going to add in the translucent shader mixed together with an add shader. So we're going to add this area over here. We're going to add that together with our translucent node, which is turned all the way up to full white to get full light passing through. Then we're going to plug that into our surface. Okay. And then for a little bit of bump, we're going to add in two noise textures. One is a scale of 2, and then the other one is a scale of 200. Then to mix those together, I'm going to mix node at 0.1, and plugging that into our displacement will give you this guy right here. That's our leaves. So yeah. That's our tree. Now, you saw that it was basically a box. You're going to want to leave it on bounds because we're going to be making a particle system. And when you add in a particle system to a plane and you're adding in a lot of trees, you don't want your viewport to be slowed down by all of those vertices. Okay? So to do that, we're just going to leave it on bounds. So basically, this is what your viewport is going to see. It's still going to render out as if it's in textured view, but your viewport won't be struggling if you leave this on bounds. Alright? Alright, so that's our main tree. So let's go ahead and add that in as a particle system setting. Alright. The particle setting, let's change the type to hair. Check advanced to get all the settings. Go ahead and check it random. And let's set this to around, we'll start with 5,000. Actually, you know what? Let's go 3,000 because we're going to be adding in children particles. So that's going to add in a lot more. Let's turn the normal for those to about 0.2 for right now. Alright, let's go ahead and add in our tree. So you're going to go to object, find whatever you name the tree. If you're downloading source files, it's going to be main tree. So go ahead and select that. And we're going to check random size. So we get lots of random trees, about 0.5. Go ahead and turn up Brownian as well. Just a little bit. Also with the velocity, just turn the random rotation up a little bit as well. Basically, you're not going to be able to find a tree in here that is going to be rotated and whatever the same. So definitely use random settings there. Alright, to add in more trees, we're going to choose Children Particles, Interpolated. If you choose Simple, they're going to be kind of clumpy and whatnot, so just choose Interpolated. And you can see that basically fills up our entire plane. So I'm just going to leave that at about 10 for right now. And also with that, just go in here a little bit more. I'm just going to turn this random up a little bit as well. Just hold shift. About 0.035. Should be pretty good. And that is our trees. So hopefully this doesn't crash, just so I can show you what it looks like. Actually, you know what? Let's work on the lighting a little bit more. So go ahead and add in a sky texture. Change it to Protheum. And strength to about 0.4, and then move this guy over to the left a little bit. That's just gonna fake some overhead blue sky lighting, but this is gonna be our main source and the sun lamp. So with this selected, uncheck shadow, so this plane doesn't cast a shadow onto the scene, because it will if that is not unchecked. And in the material settings, go ahead and remove this strength node. With the add-on, it automatically adds that in by default. But if you want light to actually be cast from this, go ahead and uncheck that. And I'm just going to turn that up just a little bit so we get more of that. Alright. Cool. Next up, let's do the sun lamp. So add in lamp and sun. And we're going to position this guy. Just going to scale it up a little bit there. So more of that line appears. We're just going to be rotating him up like that. And then we want the lighting coming from off frame of the camera from the left. Okay. Because if you look at your picture, you know, you obviously want to match the sky that you have. So we can see that our sun in this picture is off frame of the camera still on the left side. So you obviously want to duplicate that with your lights in 3D. Alright, like we saw before, 0.03 and a strength of 4. Something I didn't do with mine, I just want to go a little bit on the orangey side for that sunset type feel. Okay, so just want the lighting just coming over the trees, getting some nice shadows. You don't want it directly on them, you want them over like that. So we can play with that later, but that is pretty good. Alright, just gonna go rendered view here, and it crashed. Alright, I'll be back once this is back up and going. Coming back in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so I'm back here. I forgot to save, so I had to re-add in the sun lamp and do all this sky stuff again, so that's why you always save in Blender. But I just wanted to show you where we were at, so maybe we can just add in our camera now and do that. So let's add in a camera, Control Alt Numpad 0. Just to add that guy in. Whoops. Just gonna pull it out there just a little bit. Let's see. Just scale down. Again, just kind of distorting, not too badly, the aspect ratio of that. Alright, and I can see that these guys are a little too big. So we're just going to scale those down, which means that you're going to need to add in some more probably. There we go. Let's put these a little bit closer to our trees here. Yeah, there we go. And then let's zoom out as well. And kind of rotate that up like that. Okay, now we want this as high as we can get it, but also as low as we can get it, because we still need to see that frozen lake that we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and add all those in. So I'm just going to turn that off. Push that back just a little bit there. Okay. So go ahead and subdivide this. Just hit W, subdivide a couple times like that. And then we'll just turn up the number of cuts to 4. Yep, 4 is pretty good. Alright, the first thing that we want to do is add in that lake. So I'm just going to put it around there. And like I said, with proportional editing turned on, we'll just put that pretty deep like that. Okay. And then go in textured view mode and make our hills here like that. So you basically just want to have those mountains in the background, you know, and let's add in some little ones maybe up in here towards the camera. Just adding in a random back there, and you can always move this down more. Just want as few of the mountains as possible. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and hit smooth shading there as well. There we go. And then we're going to need to weight paint this area right here, so the trees obviously aren't in our lake here. So just gonna paint this little area. Shortcut to the weight paint as well is Control Tab. That'll go between weight paint and the 3D view mode. Then you just go to a draw, strength of 1, and just paint in there. There you go. Okay. So then in our thing here, just turn that back on. We will select its group, so everything's gonna go there. But then you hit this this button there, and it's gonna reverse it. So everything is not going to be where we painted. Okay, let's go ahead. You can see our nice hills there. Okay, let's go ahead and add in our water here. So you don't have to use the ocean add-on, it could just be a plain, since it's just going to be a solid frozen lake, but I'm just using the ocean add-on here. And just leave enough room for it to, you know, obviously not small enough. You get it? Okay. Let's turn up the resolution to 15 and turn the scale down to 0.1. And then you're going to want to have this as close to the top as possible. So let's actually turn these off so I can see. Okay, yeah. As you can see there, if we just rotate that a little bit, we'll be able to add in a little more there. Could just take this up as well. There you go. Okay, so then let's just turn our things back on here. Let's give this a little bit of a test render here. Let's go ahead and move our camera up as well. That's what I was saying. You want it high enough to be able to see that actual lake. And just move that out there. Okay. Yes, the materials for the lake, just going to be a simple glossy. So if you hit that and you hit B, it'll do glossy. And I believe it was 0.1 probably, just to give that frosted over look. And I just went a little bit blue as well. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, hopefully this doesn't crash. Using border rendering, so it only renders what's inside the camera's view. Just save that, save it. Oh, shortcut, Shift Z will go right to rendered viewport shading. It's a little shortcut there for you, and it crashed again, but thankfully we saved it. So go ahead and pull that back up. Okay. Basically, if it keeps crashing on you, just zoom out on your camera's view. That's what I was saying. This tree is pretty high poly. So there we go. Now it's rendering. Okay, so there you go. You can see our nice little scene there. It's a little dark in the shadowing, so to fix that, we'll just come down a little bit more on our lighting. Just like that. Maybe not as across. Okay. Let's go to our render settings. So full 1080p. Let's go. I'm just gonna render at 250 samples. I recommend you render at more. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna only do about 250. In fact, I'm just gonna bring it down to 150. But I recommend around 400 or 500 samples a tile. Let's go full global illumination. And performance is good. I think that is good. Let's go ahead and look at our lighting again here. Zoom all the way out. Save. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty nice. We lost a little bit of the mountains there, so we'll just go ahead and pull that back up there. And just turn that off for a little bit. Just want to pull that down because really it's this hill that's casting a big old shadow onto the scene. So we'll just turn that down. Okay. Alright, I think we are good to render. Again, let's just look at the lighting now. Yeah. I think that's good. Maybe a little too much of that background though now. Just pull that down. Okay. So we are going to render this out. I'm actually gonna start a new thing, doing renders for tutorials only at 720. So I'll help render times. So I'll be back once this has finished rendering. Oh, one thing though, before I go, I just realized looking at our scene, we didn't add any depth of field. Come on, depth of field. So let's turn our limits on there. Set our distant marker to be around that frozen lake area. And set it to f-stop about 0.5. We're not really going to be able to see that result until the render is finished. Because, I mean, it's pretty small. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. Hopefully it's not too strong. Anyway, just doing small adjustments here. Still. Just like that. It's just, there's too much of a big shadow over here for my liking. So just pointing that down, but not still hitting the trees. It's kind of like grass. You don't want the sunlight hitting directly on the grass. My apologies for my voice. I am got a little bit of sickness going on here, but hopefully it's not too bad to where I'm losing you. But we are rendering right now. Going to the compositor. The tutorial is almost done. Be back once the render has finished. Alright, so the render has finished, and you can see it's still quite noisy. That's why I said to add in more samples, but you can see our nice depth of field here, sunlight coming through the trees. So this is how I created the scene. I mean, I recommend maybe scaling out the plane a little bit more to add in more trees towards the back. I just recommend pushing and pulling things a little bit more, but I just want to show you the effect of how I created the scene. So this is how I did it. But in the compositor, if you add in our nodes here, you will get a little bit of a nicer result. I think a little bit. Let's add in a little bit more glow there. Then I had these in already because, you know, most of my tutorials are pretty much these nodes right here. And so I already added them in just so you didn't have to go through another long setup. But basically it's a filter glare node, setting the type 2 fog glow, turning it down adds in more. Color balance node, our very famous vignette, and then with the RGB curve I just added in to brighten it up a little bit more. But that is the scene. That is the winter special. Yay! Okay. But thanks for watching the video. Hope you learned something. Again, the source files will be up on BlendSwap, so you can download my original scene. You'll get my original scene, not the tutorial scene. You'll get my original scene that you can download for free on BlendSwap if you have a BlendSwap account. But other than that, thanks for watching the winter special, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in 2015. Thanks for watching, and have a great day and a Merry Christmas.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop